Well, it's the calm after the storm. 3 days ago we had it's almost cyclonic conditions. They did actually call it a bomb cyclone. I think that term was some US scientist called that particular low pressure system, where you have three lows in a system called the Fujikawa effect, where you get three lows all acting upon each other. We had some serious winds, 60 plus knots, 350 mils of rain, and as a result the river is just foul. 3-4 days ago we had beautiful clear clean water after months of dirty water, and here we are back to muddy, putrid, acrid water. Well, it's only dirty, it's not toxic or anything, but I've got an issue. My rear mooring is wrapped around, probably around the rudder there, and guess what, this guy's got to go in, and the water's about 12 degrees, so it's not going to be very pleasant. This line here is somehow wrapped around either the rudder or the propeller, I'm not sure, and I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing, so it's all going to be by feel. Luckily I've got a thermal top here, I'll be able to get in at least, alleviate some of the cold, but that is wrapped around. I can't even get it off the cleat, it's that tight, so it's clearly wrapped around the rudder, which is a bit of a downer. I really hope I haven't damaged the rudder. There could easily be a tree under there, so I've got to be a little bit careful, and the main thing is I get that rope off. If I can get it off, I should be able to untangle it and then hopefully hook it back on. But yeah, it's a bit annoying given that nobody else in the creek seems to have any issues. We seem to be in the firing line of everything that comes down the creek here. There is a reason why a lot of people have their boats pointing nose upriver, and that is so that when any debris comes down it actually flushes past the boat and past the rudder and everything. And most of us have our boats facing this way to be more comfortable in the storms that we get here during winter, the southerlies, which are actually down this way here. So Janet's not happy about me going in, but there really isn't going to be a choice. I've got to free it up at some point, but I'll do it a bit later. The tide's still running out, so got another hour or so before I'll even get a slack tide, and then I'll be able to at least have a go at it. Not happy, are you? Sorry, not happy, are you?
Not happy. I just don't think it's very safe for you going in.
I've got
you can't see what you're doing.
I've got to go in. It's all by feel.
Well, you
it's
don't.
all right. It's all by feel. I won't be putting my head underwater if I can help it.
It's not that I'm worried about. I just don't want you getting trapped in the rope.
No, you'll be right. We'll sort it out.
It's not on anyway.
Okay, it's a nice early Sunday morning. Well, it was early when we got here. We've had a few things to do. Got to put fuel in the tanks. We've actually loaded another 20 litres in, so we've got about 200 litres in each side. So we have no idea how much really we have, but it's saying 195 to 200 litres, but I'm not convinced. We're going to go out for sea trial number 3, and we're pretty excited about that because we just haven't had time to go out, and we haven't made time to go out because we're doing a lot of jobs on the boat, and it's bloody cold, isn't it? Yeah, it's about 8 degrees, so it's not real warm, but anyway, we've got everything ready to go. Got our headsets. I've come down, checked all the systems, got our charts up. But the wind is at 2.5 knots at the moment, and we're just going to basically start up and get these running. So, and cool. Check our water. Lots of water on the port side. And yep, that's always good. Have a bit of water flowing, and we check that intermittently because I'm still paranoid. But anyway, I think you should check it intermittently anyway. Righto, so now we've got to get our procedure happening. I just need to give it a little bit of revs in a minute to get the vibration out of the boat. Have you cleared all the dock lines? We're following our procedure that Darren set up, aren't we? Yeah, right. I sort of went in and went all full on and did it all, but we've sort of got a procedure. You unhook this side and we just wait and see what the boat does. In fact, when it's only on front mooring over there and front mooring over there, we're already moving out into the channel. So what we then do is just adjust the rudders and just see what the current does, because we've got an incoming tide. It's about half tide at the moment, so we're planning to go out for high tide and be back in the middle of the tide again. So already the boat's already started to drift out, and you can see that Brett's boat there is not in our line now, so we can almost just drive straight off this mooring. We're going to basically see how that goes. I'll just adjust the The rudders. Okay, so we've got the rudders basically turned slightly towards the mouth of the creek, and we're just letting the boat go out, and it's actually looking pretty good. I think we're pretty good to just let these lines off. The problem with these double-ended moorings is not like you can just reverse off it. You've actually got to wait and see, because you've got current you're dealing with. Luckily there's no wind, and as you can see, we're really out wide of our mooring now. Down here we're almost ready. We can just drive straight off this. This center line actually holds it all together. When we come back to pick it up, it gives us more things to grab when we come back, and because it floats. So all Janet needs to do is undo the front one and then run back and throw the back one off, and we're ready to drive out essentially. Yeah, chuck your off.
Ready?
Yep. Yeah, chuck that like that, that's it. Just get that. No, that's all right, now we're right. You can just chuck it over. That's it. It's always a bit nerve-wracking.
Brilliant, well done.
We're out. Oh, a bit nerve-wracking because there's whale watching tour boats going out, there's dive boats going out, there's current coming in, and there's boats up your ass. So every time I go out of that channel, I think, thank God, I'm out. It's a nice feeling. Happy?
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. We're out. Brilliant. And we're sitting on 2,200 revs, and we're getting 9 knots. And that's just cruising. We're not even powering yet. If I gave it some, I reckon I'd get 12 to 14 knots easily. We're flying along. Third trip out, third set of dolphins. Doesn't get any better than that. Hello, dudes. Give it a bit. Let's see if we can pick one up. See if we can pick them up on the bow. Here we go, right here. Go forward a bit. Oh, they're on the bow. Look at this. Oh, yes. Oh, that is awesome. They're right here on the bow. Beautiful. Go, Dale, go harder. Here. Fantastic. Oh, beautiful white. Was it worth it? Building the boat? You're happy, aren't you? Of course it was worth it. How could it not be? I mean, look at this. About a 1.5 metre swell. Laughing. I am a happy lad. And we've got HMAS Adelaide over here, or Darwin, not really sure which one it is. A big amphibious, sort of like a mini aircraft carrier, I guess. Hold it, cool. Oh, that was such a nice run. Good hours run out to Hole in the Wall. Now this place here, this structure over here is called Hole in the Wall. This is one of my favourite places in Jervis Bay. It is an area that I used to run my kayaking trips out through, and we'd often get dolphins and sharks and stingrays and the like. And this is all seagrass beds. It's about 5 metres deep, so absolutely stunning area. And it's absolutely beautiful. And then Janet's mates are over here, Marine Rescue are over here on the mooring. Someone out here doing some training. Well done, Jan. That's pretty good, eh?
Well done.
Pretty easy. These moorings are rated to 40 tonnes. That's over 4 of us. There's no anchoring anywhere in this whole region here because of the Posidonia seagrass that sort of proliferates around this area. You've got to anchor in at least 10 metres of water in Jervis Bay National Park or big fines, because the Posidonia does not grow back. They've actually proven it takes only 300 years for this stuff to grow back when an anchor drags through it. So all the more reason to have these moorings. There's about 8 moorings here, and it is a very popular place for people heading up from Tasmania or heading up from the south, heading north towards Queensland, they'll pop in here because we're sheltered from the southerly, which is that way, and we've got a big mountain behind us and the wind just blows over the top and it'll be like glass here and a big wind. You ready? Righto, we're away, go. Back up. Yeah, you're off. Oh, it's so nice. You're good? You're clear? It is seriously so manoeuvrable just with the motors. I mean, that's the beauty of cats, but just being able to use these big engines with these big props just gives you such a good feeling of control. Just magic. I don't think I can describe how magic it is just to be out and getting some use out of the boat. I'm just basically cruising around and getting a feel for what's normal, because there's a lot of things that aren't normal when you build a boat. There's no one telling you what is normal because it has its own identity, because we build it, and it's not like a production cat where they can say this should do this and this should do this. Everything has its own unique specification, I guess you'd call it, and yeah, we're just so happy to see it finally on the run.
Not now.
It's a bit cold though.
Not anymore.
How's your new jacket? Your birthday present? We decided we needed a good quality jacket for Janet because she gets so cold, and luckily I was given this one by Jolie, our old mate who was opposite us, and he was our cabinet maker that was opposite our factory, and he bought this for himself and then decided he wasn't going to use it, so he gave it to me. Pretty happy about that. Like your helm station? Perfect, isn't it, really? You can see, yeah. Couple of fur seals just here. So point perpendicular, 118 metres high. Our Sam, when he was a little fella, used to call it point pendicular. And it looks a bit point pendicular today. It's pretty calm over there, beautiful day. Into a bit of swell now, you can see how she handles the swells, it's eating it up. Now we're in the sea. I used to run my sea kayaking trips out here, and we come out in some pretty gnarly conditions, and everyone handled it really well. We had a couple of capsizes and a few rescues out here. Particularly on Bowen Island over here, you get a lot of rebound because it's 30 metres deep straight underneath it, so you end up with rebound swell. The waves come in and hit the cliffs, bounce back. There's absolutely no dissipation of the energy of the sea, so you get a rebound and haystacks out here. Sometimes when there's a big swell, it'll bounce all the way back a kilometre out. It can be pretty uncomfortable. Oh, there's some humpbacks down here. Go right. No, you don't have to, just hang here. They're coming straight at us. There's like, just float right up. There's like 5 of them. Yes, there we go. Just go out a little bit further. They're going straight for Point Perp. Oh, there's heaps of them. So we've got, looks like 4 or 5 humpbacks just over here on the end of Bowen Island here, which is just brilliant because it's about 30 metres deep. So hopefully they'll approach us. We're not allowed to, obviously 300 metres is the given limit. I think it's 100 metres for a humpback or 300 if she's got calves. But we're not going to go and approach them, but they won't be far away from being underneath us now. First time out in Synergy, I just saw 5 male humpbacks on a bull run here. They're right here. Oh, they're coming straight at us. Oh! Just back up a bit, darling. Back up a bit. So that's 2,000 revs. What speed? 8 knots at 2,000, and we're not even in a little bit of splash. We're getting a run every now and then. What's the running speed when you get on a wave? 9 knots on the back of a wave, so we're getting 9 to 10 knots. Marine rescue are right in front of us here. Windy as. Well, it's not windy, it's just the speed we're going. And look at the swells chasing us. Woo-hoo. A little bit of the dock way. Look at the speed he's going. You gotta remember I'm going into the tide, so it's gonna grab me. See the water clearing up. Ten feet. Hey? No problem going through here. We're in neutral. It's a super wild, wet and windy week. We've got massive flooding up on the north coast, and I went down to the boat yesterday. I've got a few leaks I need to deal with in my main window. It's only one, but it's really pissing me off, so I'm going to paddle down a bit later on in the floodwaters in my kayak and try to put in a bit of a temporary fix until we get some good weather. We just haven't had a decent run of weather. It's been friggin' raining for weeks. Janet and I were down in Tasmania last week, and we zipped back, hopefully to get some work done on the boat. I've done nothing since I've been back, and I've been back for 4 days. So I'm in the factory, pulling the factory apart. We're basically getting a rejig. I've been doing a bit of boat work, repair work for a local boat company down here for Narrow Power Boats, and it's been nice to do some transom work and some other work, and it's all been good. But it's time for me to start to think about the future for Janet and I with the factory, with what we're going to do going forward in the next sort of 12 months or so. It's going to be pretty busy. I've just lined up some work with Dane, who owns Sea Kayak Jervis Bay, company bought off us, and he wants a fleet of new kayaks, so I'll probably knock those out. And what I'm about to do now is start on our tender. I'm going to put in a little bit of rudimentary work just to get a bit of a start on it, and I'm sort of wondering what to do. I want a foam core tender. I want something nice and light because the rib that I've got is super heavy. And I want something light for us to go forward. I've got a bit of a dodgy back, so I don't want to be pulling that up the beach. So about 2 years ago, Vince, a couple of streets down here, boat builder, gave me the hull of an inflatable tender. Now that little hull, it's only 1.8 meters long, so I need to do some extension and some widening of it, and I'm going to use that hull as the basis for our foam core tender. So what I'm talking about is this guy here. It's actually a double-skinned fiberglass, and this will be a good shape. It's actually a proven shape. It has a bit of a sort of a reasonable sort of planing delta on the bottom there, but I intend to extend that out and make that a little wider. So a bit of work to be done here. I could actually cut it down the middle and then expand it out, and then I'm going to use the sides to form the basis of our foam core tender. Now what I need to do now is actually slice off the transom of it, because what I need to do is extend it out to about here. I want to put about another 40 centimeters on this, just to give the hull a reasonable length, and I also want to incorporate a bit of a flat floor in the center of it, just so that I don't have, you know, a constant V all the way through it, which this one does have. So I'll get in and cut that, and we'll have a bit of a look at how we're going to set this up. Okay, so here is the beginnings of hopefully our new foam core tender. My intention is to extend it to around about this big, so that's going to take some work. I'm going to build some stations within the actual tender so that I can curve the foam and probably do the outside, the gunnel side of it and the side of it basically separate to the hull itself, so that it can simply be tacked on at the end. I've got to basically come up with a shape, and that shape will incorporate this hull, but then come out and then up here. We need to go for a width of around 1.6 meters, so 1600 millimeters, and a length of 3.2 meters is the critical point where I'm not going to damage the catamaran as we winch it up into its davits, and also I'm trying to keep the weight down, so 3 meters may be the optimum. I'm not really sure yet. I want to have a go down to the boat, really measure that out. I did take some rudimentary measurements some time ago. At least now I've got the hull here, I've got a little bit of space to work, because I've got no really big jobs on right this next couple of weeks. I can at least get a framework up to start building on that shape. But anyway, we'll get a bit of a rough idea of what it's going to look like from this, and then we can go from there. So establish a center line, our hull, and then everything else will have to be extrapolated off that. But yeah, you don't need much, but just a couple of lines will really assist in getting everything straight. There's been a great deal of work going on here, and I've neglected to film it because I've been outside grinding fiberglass. What I've actually done is got my hull that I had, and I've seriously modified it, and I just wasn't happy with the way it was going to look. I didn't think it was going to perform well as a tender, and I'm not even sure it will when I finish it, but there's a little bit of science going into this as well. So I'll just show you where I'm up to. I've got a couple of stations there, and I've actually hacked the boat to pieces to come up with a shape that I think is going to be way superior for my tender. Now what I've actually done, I've put in a station at the rear and another one in the middle here. I've actually come up with a flat spot in the center here, which will gradually narrow as we get towards the front. I've cut the whole center out, which is this part here, and I'll be able to use that to get the hull form. Obviously that center station there is going to need to change slightly. As it goes forward, it'll taper more towards the bow here again. And then I've got to work on the sides as well. So I've actually maintained some of the rake here, or some of the bow, and then we're going to go to a slightly flat spot in this area here, which is going to be around about this high. So I'll have a small taper here, which I'll use the bow of this to use that form, and then I'll extrude it into the length that I need. Now this particular board that it's sitting on, is 2.4 meters long, so that gives me a hull, interior hull of 2.4 meters, and the whole boat overall will be around about 3 meters. So we've got a little bit of work to do here. I've got to change the stern. This transom here, I'm going to use this as a plug. These are essentially templates, they're not the boat itself. I'll be making foam components the same shape as what I derive up here to form the actual hull itself. But yeah, it's basically been a bit of a process. Now when I get to this stage here, the boat will extend out to here and form the sides of the boat at 1.5 meters wide, which is around about what my current inflatable tender is, and that should give us an ample interior space. In fact, more than you get on your standard one. This one here is only 750 millimeters wide inside, and we'll end up with a lot more because of the sides will be solid and not a buoyant chamber like a like an inflatable tube. So yeah, lots to do, and it's been a bit of a big day. I've just spent nearly all day on this, just grinding, taking it out, grinding, getting the shape down. I'm really happy with that component there. The next component is going to be the hard one, where I start to extrapolate this into this to make my ultimate hull shape. So the way that I could complete this is pretty complicated. I could either make a plug out of solid fiberglass, wood and plywood and whatever else, paint it up, pull a mold off it, or make a nice one and then potentially a second one later on. And this sort of plug making can go on for weeks, just fiddling and trying to get the whole essence of what I'm trying to achieve here. I mean, it doesn't look like much at the moment, but it certainly will come to fruition when I start to make the actual plug proper. And that's going to involve MDF and all the other things, and a lot of routing and a lot of sort of design work. And to be honest, that's sort of the enjoyable part while I haven't got a massive project. So Janet's put the kibosh on any big projects for me, so it looks like I'm going to have to do things like this to keep myself occupied. The boat's still not finished, so I'm still working on this at night. It's dark out there now. I'm up here sort of plugging away at it, and it's winter, so it's pretty cold, and I'm going to head home.